Hey, it's Alex with Kiss FM. This is Next Up, and I'm super pumped for our next guest. Give it up on your seats at your computer for Stephanie Rice. Hey, girl.
Woo, hey.
Is this your first time at Kiss?
It is.
Oh my God. Well, welcome.
I'm a newbie here.
Yes. And so before the cameras were rolling, we just talked about the fact that you literally moved to LA a month ago. Talk to me about the transition, because it's a little overwhelming when you first move here out of state. And I know you're from Texas.
Yeah, I get that a lot. It's like, are you in culture shock? I'm like, no, I'm in culture relief. It's amazing here.
Yeah. That too.
So, I was in LA for the portion of being on The Voice.
For sure.
But I was sequestered, like in a hotel, so I didn't really get to go out and explore that much.
Yeah.
But me and my fiance, we just moved here like about a month ago.
Yeah.
And we've been traveling a lot even since we moved, so I have yet to really kind of explore and even do the touristy things, you know. So.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give you a few tips. Best tacos, in my opinion. We'll always go. You can always find some really good like random taco trucks, but King's Tacos are my favorite. King Taco.
Okay.
I got it wrong. King Taco. And they're everywhere. Like there's one close to me is in Pasadena, and you will find yourself there at like 2:00 in the morning.
I love it.
Fantastic. In-N-Out's always great. Obviously, that's like
I've totally hit up In-N-Out.
Yeah, and everyone, if you're from LA, they are, fiercely defensive of In-N-Out. So you can't say anything bad. So even if you go there and you're just like, this is all right, never say
it's
that.
The best burger ever.
Yeah, just tell everybody it was the best burger you've ever had, and you won't make anyone angry.
Okay.
So those are tips for you, and they're free. So there you go.
Well, thank you.
But seriously, though, you've kind of had this whirlwind experience being on The Voice, and then moving out here. What have the past 6 months been like for you? Just like
you just said,
everything.
a whirlwind. So I was off the show in mid-May, and I think I hit the road on June 1st. And we, my band and I, we went and did a festival in Orlando at House of Blues there.
Oh, cool.
And then I ended up going to New York and DC and to LA and back to Houston, and finally figured out a time to record the single, produce the single, mash the single, and then my fiance and I, we've been wanting to move to LA for a while because my brother lives out here.
Oh, cool.
And he's my producer.
Oh wow, that worked out really well for you.
Yeah, it does. So it's just been a lot going on at once, it can be hard to really comprehend everything that's happening because it's just, go. But I think we're doing a really good job at keeping up with it.
Yeah. Did you feel inspired to write the single when you were out on tour? Like, where did that come
I actually
from?
wrote it before.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I have about 20 songs written just as of now, and I actually just wrote a new one yesterday, so the list is growing. But Let Me Go was a song that I wrote just before I went on to The Voice.
Okay.
And it was one of those songs that I just knew it was powerful, because when I wrote it, it was even uncomfortable writing it because it was so raw,
Yeah.
So I kind of had my eye on releasing that one first, to the world and everything.
Yeah. Well, it's fantastic.
Thank you.
And I'm sure that was probably a little. I don't know. I don't want to speak for you, but I'm sure when you said it's uncomfortable writing a song and you have to get so vulnerable, I'm sure that was a little scary to like release it to the world too.
Yeah. It's always kind of. I think the whole process of being on The Voice, like I think to make the kind of difference that I wanted to make and the impact that I wanted to make, I had to open myself up and be vulnerable. And this song, it's really just me bearing my heart and soul, just kind of just opening up my chest and saying, hey, here everything is. But what fuels me and what inspires me to do that is that I've learned, and I know that I'm not the only person going through the things that I'm feeling, and I think it's a really empowering thing to say, hey, I'm not the only one, and let's share in this and talk about it openly and then move on.
Yeah, and I know you're not on The Voice anymore, and you're doing your own thing, and I don't mean to bring up, The Voice, but you were in a very unique position where you are someone who was coached by people who've made it. Alicia Keys is such a massive name.
I know. And I still can't believe I've even worked with her.
Yeah.
And Gwen Stefani.
Exactly, and they're people who are not only performers, but they are songwriters.
Yeah.
And that's, again, such a unique position that you were in.
I learned so much from just even the short time of being on the show and being around them.
Yeah, what have you learned? Like, what were some of the key takeaways that you had?
So, Gwen actually really focused with me on just technical things, like with my voice, of when to use certain things to make it effective. But Alicia had this mentality of, she always said, you're a human being, not a human doing, and that's just really stuck with me, of you should be and not do.
Yeah.
Just be. And and just really connecting with the song and just singing what you feel and feel what you sing kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I kind of just use that every time I'm going into the studio, every time I'm trying to write something. I don't try to force anything to happen. It's just whatever is happening, whatever I'm feeling, that's what I'm going to let be said.
Yeah.
You know? But I think the coolest thing is that I was a little bit shy going onto the show and maybe lacking a little bit of self-confidence. And when you have someone, like you said, someone so huge like Alicia Keys and Gwen Stefani saying, you know, you're an artist, you're a producer, you're a writer, you really, I stopped having excuses anymore. I stopped having excuses of like, well, I don't know if I can do that. No, you know, it's just like, no, I can do this. And I really left the show just with so much belief in myself. And I think that was the most precious gift I could have been given. It's just belief.
Yeah. You know, and one thing that I also really admire about you, you know, when it comes to even outside of music, is I can tell you're someone who you stick to your beliefs. As far as I feel like I hate using the word outspoken because it's like you're outspoken on things that everyone should be outspoken about.
Yeah.
But I really like how, because I'm sure, and I don't know, but I feel like maybe if you're someone who's trying to make it in the industry, you're like, oh, I don't want to offend too many people, but you're a big believer in human rights, and that's really what it comes down to.
Right.
And I just want to ask, like, why is that something that you're outspoken on? Why is that something that you believe that you're like, no, I'm going to talk about this?
I really just feel like I'm being a voice. And it's my responsibility to have a voice. 'Cause I remember when I didn't have one. And, you know, like you said, I think it's topics that everyone should be outspoken about, but the fact is that in a lot of places that's not happening. And I grew up in that kind of place.
Yeah.
And those places still exist, and there's kids that are there that are still feeling ostracized and isolated. And if there's anything that I can do to alleviate any type of fear or to give some sort of inspiration, I feel like that's my purpose.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a time where I wasn't sure if I would make it. And in my definition, I have made it because I've gotten to the other side of this, you know, struggle of like this mountain that, you know, I've kind of been climbing. And I guess I just want to be like proof to people that it is possible. And, you know, and obviously there's nothing really that matters more in life than sticking up and for the things that are right and just, you know.
I'm so happy you just said that. It's so good for you. And another thing, speaking of your social, that I noticed was you, in your bio, it says you're also a scientist.
Yeah.
But that's all you said, and I was like, give me more. What does she mean?
You should not have said give me more because I could go on and on
Please
and on.
do.
Okay, so I have a biology degree to start off with.
I took one math class and a science class in college, so we're very different. Continue.
Okay. And I really got into research my senior year in college, and I started studying ants.
What?
Yeah. I'm the ant lady.
So, explain.
Okay, I'm about to geek out here.
Wait, I know one thing about ants, and it kind of like, I kind of love.
Tell me.
They are
I'll tell you if
a
it's actually
matriarchal
right.
society.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty cool.
It is cool.
Because there is a lady ant, and everyone works for her. And she does a lot of sleeping, and all the men ants work for her, and it's fantastic. So, that's it.
Yeah. I kind of relate to the whole queen ant thing. I feel like I'm the lady boss, basically.
I love that. We just tied in science with music. It's pretty great. No, that's so cool. So you studied ants. So why ants? Just real quick.
Well, okay, so only 2% of all species on Earth live socially, or are social species, meaning that they interact with each other on a day-to-day basis through every interaction.
Yes.
And ants are one of those. And it was really inspiring to observe and watch these colonies work together and build something that was greater than themselves and that benefited the society as a whole.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, why can't we humans do that a lot more? And, you know, but scientifically, it was really intriguing to me about how these behaviors came about. And after doing research, I fell in love with just the idea of not knowing something but trying to figure it out, you know, answering a question that hasn't been answered yet.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do something that had more of an impact on humans as like far as like, you know, our health. And so I got into doing HIV research at Baylor College of Medicine, and I was there for 3 years. And a lot of the research I did ended up we've, you know, discovered a lot of things that were pretty like breakthrough material, and I'm a published author in the scientific journal AIDS.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so mind blown. Please never stop talking.
And so the correspondence was published in 2015, and soon after that is when I decided to pursue music full time. Since I was a kid, I just knew that I wanted to do music, and I felt like I had never really given myself the opportunity to just focus on music, and I had been dedicating a lot of my time to science, and it was a tough decision at first, but then when I think about how music literally saved my life, I feel like it's my responsibility to share the kind of music that saved mine and hopes to impact just, one other person.
Wow. I mean, that's really, really incredible.
Thank you.
Talk about someone who has dipped their hands into multiple things, and I feel like so often we talk about people who are right-brained and left-brained.
Yeah.
I feel like you either are good in the arts or you're good in STEM, and
no,
that's it.
I think both halves of my brain, they're always like in constant communication with each other, and one bounces off the other. Even scientific background is what influences a lot of my songwriting.
Wow.
I can't separate the two.
Yeah.
And right now I made a choice to pursue music, but my ultimate dream is to figure out a way to travel the world doing music, but also be a part of research projects in different areas of the world, and like you said, have my hands dipped into different things, because I'm in love with both.
Gosh, that is so incredible. That's really, I was not an answer I was expecting. I mean, like, you didn't put all that in your Instagram bio. It literally just said scientist. I was like,
how do you
cool.
explain that?
Like, she was a science major. I don't know. We'll talk about it. And you're like, no, I did all of these things, and I also have a book. And I was like, okay. Like, that's amazing. That is so incredible, and that's so inspiring. And I also love that because, again, back to the fact that you have this platform, and people, whether you like it or not, and young girls look at you, and you can be like, you can be all these things.
Exactly.
What do you want to be?
Exactly.
Are you good at science? Then
Right.
let's do more of that.
Exactly.
Or are you good? Like, that is really, really
Exactly.
cool.
Like, pursue it, whatever it is. I always say, like, whatever it is that you're waking up thinking about, like, that's what you should be doing.
Amazing. Okay, well, now I feel super inspired. So this was like a TED Talk for me right now. No, really, it's been such a pleasure getting to know you and kind of see your career blossom even more. And I'm really excited to see the next steps in your career, especially as a single kind of takes off and you're getting to know this new city and, move from Texas.
Right.
And it's a lot flying at you.
It is, but I'm totally up for it. And like I said, I'm working my butt off, and I have an amazing team that is working just equally as hard.
Yeah.
And so single number 1's out. I'm already working on single number 2, and also working on the full album. And so I basically am trying to work as hard as I can, because it's a really amazing and beautiful thing to have made this connection to so many people from being on the show, and to even hear anyone say, hey, I can't wait for you to release new music. And like I said, I believe in the music. I believe like it's helped me so much. I know it can help other people, or at least I hope it can.
Yeah.
And so I'm working as hard as I can to just release these things, and it takes work and it takes time, but it's all completely worth it.
Oh, man, I'm super pumped for you. This was really such a great talk. Thank you so much for coming in today.
No, thanks for having me.
Is there anything else you want to tell our listeners?
Thank you so much for your support. It's the fuel to the fire, and the fire's burning really, really bright. Thank you.
Yes. Awesome. She's amazing.